Every car guy in the world has seen the new movie coming out, Ford versus Ferrari. It's gorgeous. The trailer looks wonderfully done. Obviously, we're all going to pick it apart somewhat. The acting, I don't know, the fat Ford executive that's crying in the GT40. Yeah, a guy that climbs his way all the way to the top and just like beats everybody down in Detroit cries when he's in a race car. I don't think so. But anyway, it's going to be a cool movie. We're all excited. But I want to talk about Ford versus Ferrari, that original story. Now look, you all know the story already. Every car guy knows the story, and if you don't know the story, I'm not going to sit here and tell it to you for the 472nd time that we've all heard. But I would like to bring another take to it that no one seems to notice, especially in the United States. So recapping the story, let's go to Ford wants to buy Ferrari. We know, okay. Anyway, they come in to do the deal. Ferrari's there, one lawyer. Ford, big team of suits. They're all coming in. Big stack of papers. The fact of the matter is, they were already all talking anyway. I guarantee Enzo told all of them what his stipulations were, what they wanted. It was negotiated down to the last instant. And as the story goes, of course, it came down to one thing. Enzo wanted to retain control of the racing team. That's who he is. He was a racer at the soul to lead. Period. Racer. That's what Ferrari is, racing. He could care less about the street cars, in a manner of speaking. It was all about racing. Ford knew that. Those guys knew that. So the Ford people come in to this meeting and changed it. Thinking maybe he won't see it. Maybe he won't care. Maybe he'll bow down and back up. Maybe they can negotiate. Maybe they can browbeat. Whatever they do in a big meeting of intimidating to make it happen. And Enzo did what any European business gentleman, or quite frankly, kick-ass racing industrialists from Europe would have done. He circled it, he was offended to the core, and walked out. Two reasons. One, negotiating power. I'm done with you. If Ford and their people can't act like gentlemen and uphold the deal that I guarantee they already talked about and they all knew, then one, they're not worth talking to. And they don't deserve to sit at the table anymore with him. I guarantee that's how Enzo looked at it. I guarantee that's how any very proud European business person would as well. They're not going to sit there and take that and suffer a fool. Or, frankly, Ford insulted him so badly with this, because it's clearly underhanded, manipulative coercion tactics, typical to Detroit or Toledo, Ohio, is what ends up making these cities be such garbage over time. That's my personal opinion. I just want to throw that in there. We'll have another video about that sometime. Anyway, or two, Enzo's just like, screw you. I'm not going to work with you. Done. Let's have lunch. That's exactly what happened. Because the Ford suits tried to play a dirty move on him that wasn't gentlemanly. So as the story goes, and we're all supposed to be excited as Americans and car guys that Ford triumphantly went out and built a car to beat Enzo, beat Ferrari, hooray, patriotism. Have you guys seen James May, Top Gear guy, do the story on just this? Ford spent an absolute insane fortune to do this, and they sure as heck didn't do it overnight. It took a few years. Not to mention that, but I really want to make this point. The Ford GT or GT40 wasn't really a Ford. It's a Lola, built in England by Lola Racing Cars. Like Lola T70s and stuff. Ford didn't know how to make a monocoque mid-engine car like that. They knew how to write a check and try to kick people's ass business-wise all the time. So the Lola GT, which already existed, basically got turned into Ford GT. And of course, with racing, it's been developed. They had their engineers, blah, 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 and a bunch of suits like put pressure and their thumb on people to make it go faster. And sure, Ford makes big displacement V8, so whatever, cast them in aluminum, make better castings, better valves, better this, that, and the other thing, and you've got your Ford engine to go racing. And you're gonna have, no replacement for displacement. And after a while, and spending idiotic sums of money for a corporation that makes streetcars and trucks and things like that, they won a few races. Cool. Awesome. You won. But who really won this, Ford or Ferrari? Think about that for a minute. Ford spent an enormous sum of money. Yeah, sure, there's a bunch of toys made, and it maybe helps like, hooray, racing and marketing. But did Ford really recoup that for the betterment of their company, just doing that, their heritage that they have all these years. Even the new Ford GT, that's cool. I mean, Ford was smart to basically manipulating everybody to get it like puppets to try to get them to create all the publicity for Ford to make it worth more. And one of my friends is going to hate my guts for saying that, but it's true. Sorry, buddy. You know, and the other Ford GT was cool, whatever. But look at Ferrari. Enzo has cars named after him. Not just his last name, but his first name. Incredible supercars of art, design, engineering, craftsmanship, races being won on the planet, the world over, non-stop. And even though Ferrari major shareholders in stakeholding and ownership has changed over time, it's still Ferrari. They still win. So Ford went out and won a couple of races at Le Mans, and then come back and write history like the victor of a war. Even though, did you really win that war? Or was it just a bunch of suits with a crap load of money that just wanted to blow money to go out to win a couple of races to stick it to them? Or was this basically what nowadays we don't want to see, reckless behavior from CEOs with too much power back then? That we can chalk it up now to a cool story of old and blind patriotism. Yay, look how Enzo Ferrari, that Italian, he was such a jerk. He went out and didn't do that, and we went out and showed him we're better. Or was it really that the Ford guys tried to manipulate the old Italian man and screw him over a little bit? And then when he walked out, they went home like angry little children and spent a fortune to go win a race. When Ferraris are still kicking butt the world over forever. So Ford's got Mustang, you guys make that. You're good at making stamped steel boxes, you always have. But you're not racers. You're just not. Yeah, I know Cosworth, but Cosworth's done in England. You stick your name on that too. To illustrate my point, and I know I'm totally trolling Ford effectively right now, I want to show you my point. Look at this car. Isn't it amazing? It was made in England. Let's just write a check and get it, and we'll put our name on it. An oval with a nice script. Check this out. Yes! Boom! Look, I won races, and in 40 years or so, I'm going to tell the world how I went out and built my own car and kicked butt. It's a Casey. Yeah, screw everybody else. So anyway, guys, this was total trolling, but I really did this to emphasize a point, to get you thinking. History is run by the victor, or at least the guy with the most money and that's the loudest. But you have to look at it from different points. And I don't think that Americans, especially modern Americans, understand Europe or European business. But you know what? I wasn't there, and frankly, I didn't study it that much. But I always kind of thought there was something wrong with the Ford won this amazing story. And it just doesn't sit that right with me. And the movie's going to be way cool and all, but come on, it's going to be one-sided. So, you know what? Let's face it, the Ford execs and Ferrari, they were probably absolutely wretchedly difficult people to work with. And I guarantee they weren't perfectly philanthropic or perfectly moral people in every single way. Sorry. But I just think there's more to this story. It's not that there's two sides, but it's looking at the big picture. And the whole Ford versus Ferrari thing is fun to think about, but it really isn't that, it isn't a competition in that sense. Ferrari's demolished Ford for as long as they've ever existed in terms of racing and being in racing. So, my opinion, who won that war? Ferrari, hands down. Sorry, Ford, I like the GT40s, but Ferrari, have you heard of them? So I hope you guys like this video. Comment, I know some of you are going to, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.